I'm just waiting for it to all prepare. Then I have to remember to look for the little live in the
There
corner.
we go.
Yay.
Yay, we did it.
Love it.
Awesome.
Okay, so let me get back to you. 1 second.
Okay.
All right. Yay. We did it. Hi, everyone watching the channel. My name is Therese Tucker. I am the creator of Blythe Starlight. And I'm here today with Sylvia Te of the Sacred Spiral. Say hi, Sylvia.
Thanks for having me, Therese.
Yay! I'm so happy to have you here. Now, Sylvia is a friend of mine. She is also, how would you describe your title? What do you do? Because I see you as a healer, but how would you describe yourself?
I would say I'm a modern mystic, a quantum healer, catalyst of some sort.
Yes,
What I
absolutely.
tend to attract is women in business, though. So a CEO catalyst or a confidence catalyst, you know, those are a couple of different,
I love that. And that's
yeah,
so
people that I work
perfect
with.
for you for the work that you do. The reason I see you as a healer is just because we've known each other for many years and we've done a lot of visioning work together. We've done a lot of metaphysical work together. And a few times we've done sort of I don't even know how to call it, like a group hypnosis session, I guess is the best way to describe it. But I've been able to view some of Sylvia's past lives while in session with her, and she definitely has a major healer energy, as well as she's able to move energy through space time. She's got this ability to move things into the quantum field, like kind of create quantum energy portals. Is that how we should talk about it? It's like a portal
With
that she can
Yeah,
create.
you said it's temporal bubbles or temporal
Right.
bubbles. And
Yes.
what comes to my mind for anybody else that needs to kind of visualize what that is, it reminds me of Doctor Strange and the
Yes.
multiverse and,
Yes.
and the portals and being able to go into wherever you need to go to get the thing. So and he's always in different old ancient libraries and
Nice.
grabbing the medicine or the tool or the thing and then bringing it to where you're at back again, so but with a lot of healing, people that are very clairvoyant or clairsentient or whatever their clair is, they see going other places to get the thing and then coming back. So a lot of times we will float or kind of spiral up in a DNA format to the tool and then come back to this reality and implement it.
Yeah,
Very
that is
interesting.
so cool. May I share what I saw that one
Yeah,
time I saw you in a past
yeah,
life? So
absolutely. It's cool. It's very cool.
yeah, we've definitely hung out in past lives together. And there was a time, and it feels like, Sylvia, remind me if this sounds accurate. I feel like it was an Atlantean period, like I think it was towards the end of Atlantis, but you were opening sort of it's like a time pocket, is what it looked like. So it wasn't in that time period, it wasn't really in another, it was between sort of a safe space, if you will, where you were opening that energy and you were taking people into that, and that would allow for these people to sort of exist in a pocket or a bubble of space, if you will, outside of the what was going on at that time period. So we're talking about like a major, like probably tsunami type energy is always what I see when I look into that period. So this huge destructive period where you were able to pull a group of people into this sort of temporal bubble, keep them safe, until the events were over. And then these people could then come out and disperse. Maybe some of them stayed, maybe some of them went forward. But this is the one of the periods that I was able to view with you in a past life, watching you do this work. And I feel like you're still doing something along the lines of that even today.
Right. Yeah, that was a wild, I don't know how Dolores Cannon was involved with that,
Right.
I
So
believe. The
yes.
end of
So
the end of Atlantis, and then we hopped in this portal to somewhere in like Ireland or something. Like we were overlooking a
oh
bluff.
yeah. Yeah. So Sylvia and I have done obviously many sessions together where I have been working with Dolores Cannon. I see her sort of a spiritual mentor to me. She is already passed over. And her work is definitely inspiring to me, and it encouraged me to become a quantum healing hypnosis practitioner, which is Dolores Cannon's method of reviewing past lives, getting information, and talking to your higher self, or as she called it, the subconscious, so that you could get information about how to heal in this lifetime, or the things that your soul desires to work on, or asking your higher self, why am I going through this experience? What does it mean? What do I need to learn? Can I get out of it? That kind of thing. That's her whole technique. And when I first started making contact with Dolores, there was a group of people that when this particular group gathered, I was able to bring her through again. And that's where we saw other lifetimes. I feel like that was like a druid type thing, the
Very
cliffs.
Celtic.
Yeah.
We were all wearing capes with hoods and stuff. And
Right.
we were in a rock circle type formation. And I think we were building some sort of Merkaba of some sort.
We were doing something with sound, and what I saw was we were standing on a cliff high over the water. So there was this cliff, and I could see, when I was looking at it, I could see this, there was either a design already on the ground, or as we were using sound, we were creating this design. So it's quite possible it was a Merkaba, but it was some kind of energy sound work that we were using to help open up possibly another portal. I mean, maybe that's what we were doing back
Just hopping, yeah, hopping different places, like
then. Just
in like
travel.
trying to escape the ruins of destruction.
Why do we always show up at the end of these civilizations? That's a question we should be asking ourselves, is because it seems
Remember,
to be
Dolores always says, ask the smart questions.
right. She does say that. So I wonder why we're always showing up at the end. But well, now as I'm asking that, my team's kicking in, and they're like, because you are part of a transition team, you guys with us and others with us at this time. And if you're watching it, it might resonate for you that you're also part of this transition team. We don't have to have conscious awareness of each other for you to be part of the team, but there's a group of souls who are here to help transition society at peak points in time. It sounds like we're here to do that,
Yeah.
which actually gets us into our topic today pretty well, because Sylvia, you brought up a great point about what's going on at this time. There's a lot of people who have been awake for a while, and there's also a lot of people freshly waking up to the ways of the world, if you will, like the things that are going on. And there is a lot going on. And we were talking about how it can really sort of dismantle or fracture your energy. It can cause you to feel like you're going in all sorts of directions. So before we get into how to, work on that, I just want to hear your take on what you have to say about all this information and energy coming at us at this time, because you made such a great point before we went
Yeah.
live.
Although we hold a lot of different ascended masters or higher beings that we may call in and work with as guidance teams, even angels,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody's ever had to go through this amount of distraction while they're processing their path, their goals, what they're calling in, what they're creating. At the same time, everything is bombarding us in every direction. I don't think humanity, or I don't even know, like honestly, if it has happened in previous lifetimes where there's been this amount of information thrown at a being to be able to juggle it all and also still proceed with building the new.
So
And
let's see
so,
if we can kind of break down for a second just what kind of distractions that you're referring to, because
oh,
you have a great
it's
point.
yeah, I feel like distractions in general, but we have so many different forms of media that come at us constantly from all
Mhm.
the different devices, whether that's your phone and, a notification, or your TV, or any of the social medias, or just in general, like even if you're slightly sensitive, you can feel it. Like it feels like we're going through the eye of a needle or you're about to be popped, I guess. Like the
Yeah.
society feels like it's about to be popped. And if you're energetically inclined, or sensitive, even if you're a water sign, for God's sakes, like you've got to be tapping into this. And so I was talking to Therese and I was like, I feel like everybody is feeling it, whether they know what's happening or not. And even the people who think they know what's happening, I'm sure they're going to be surprised by stuff that gets unveiled as well.
Oh yeah. I'm ready. I'm like, I'm kind of in that space where I'm like, don't assume you know everything.
Right.
Keep a big part of your mind open to something you haven't even really grokked yet, because I think we're going to find some stuff out that'll
Right.
blow us
Right.
all
And then
away.
there's some people that really have no idea.
Yeah.
And but they could just be a good person. They're just, shining their
Sure.
light at the library or a grocery store. They're always smiling, whatever it is. They've got to be feeling the different energetic sensations of what's kind of happening in the collective, world right now. It's almost like, fish in underwater. When something's stirring up in the ocean and
Yeah.
we all feel it. And being humans, we're not fish, I mean, but we're connected to everything and we can feel it. And so kind of just steadying yourself and coming back to yourself, like, because I've learned with a lot of healing work over the years that I really like to be alone. I was telling Therese this. I really do like to be alone. I might be, you know more of the face where people feel like I'm super outgoing and like the life of the party because I do smile and I have a gregarious laugh and, just a lot of fun. But at the same time, I really do like my alone time. I really do. And people who are sensitive kind of need that to recharge, and especially water signs. Like they just need to pull into themselves, especially, cancers. I think about the shell that the cancers are in. And so
Right.
they just need their little, I guess, when it comes to tarot, it would be like the hermit mode. They need that little reprieve. And like even my kids can feel it. Their kids are pretty sensitive. My husband can feel it. And like whenever we go anywhere, it expends different energies, whether we can see them or not. And so sometimes, at least with my family, we all need to kind of go to our own space for a minute to recollect ourselves. And so that's what I
Hmm.
was telling Therese. I feel like everybody needs a little space to recollect themselves. And how would we do that? Especially with what's going on in the world in all the ways that we can
Yeah.
be distracted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you made such a great point, especially when you touched on media. It instantly reminded me that a lot of people have said that we're already in a war, and that is true. I do agree with that. There is a spiritual war for sure going on that a lot of sensitive people have been feeling for a while, even before it really started to build up in the last few years. But in the last few years, what was so interesting is that it really is an information war. So when you talked about being inundated with information from all these different channels, from the mainstream media to private journalism, or what is it called? Not private journalism, but
Independent.
independent
Independent.
journalism, citizen journalism, social media channels. I mean, we're on a social media channel right now. I mean, where there's and we're sharing information, but there's just so much coming at us now that, like you said, it can be overwhelming and a little bit
And no,
like,
and no being, I don't think like even Buddha had this amount of distraction going on, like
right.
Buddha, Yeshua, Jesus, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, none of them have had this kind of warfare.
Right. Well, when I think about Atlantis, because one of the things I have seen is I remember I had this really intense dream and I woke up and I went, oh my God, this is an overlay where we're back in that part of the time spiral. If you think about time like a spiral, we're at a matching point to the end of Atlantis, or some men might say, or the end of the Roman era, you know what I mean? But this big dynamic shift is about to happen in civilization for sure. Now, I believe it's going to be for the better, but until we're fully shifted, it's going to look like what it looks like right now. Um, but even at the time of Atlantis, let's say, where they had high technology, they had different technology than we did. They had crystal technology. And they were doing the same things that the dark group were doing the same things that they're doing now. Same thing about, having this sort of ultimate control all the way up to trying to be God, meaning like they were splicing genetically humans and people together. We know that, that's kind of down the rabbit hole if
Humans
you
and
haven't been
animals,
there.
humans and animals, like the
Right.
chimera. Hmm.
Yeah. They were doing that. That was sort of one of the things that caused the fall, because when you start doing that, you're messing with the laws of nature and physics that you shouldn't be messing with. Um, but even then, back then, with all that technology, it is unclear as to whether or not they were as inundated on a civilian level with information as we are now. And we are in what they call that information age. And there is a point where it's just too much. You're not meant to have that much data coming at you 24/7. There is no turning it off unless you yourself disconnect and turn it off. It's just all around you.
Right. Right. And I feel like whether you're metaphysical, spiritual, or just a nice person, you've got to be picking it up and wondering, what is this? Something's up.
Yeah, well, I mean, so this is where it gets interesting, because usually if you're at that point that something's up, then you are awakening out of, the matrix, if you will. You're awakening out of the false reality and starting to see the true reality. And both you and I have been out of that for a while. And we've gone down the information rabbit holes where, when you first come out of it, I think that's the trickiest part, because you are consuming information at an even higher rate. Like, you want to understand what the heck is going on, and why does nothing make sense anymore? Why is it like we were having a conversation about weather modification and the other day, right? And it was interesting because at a certain point in going deep into all this information, you forget, you think something like, or at least my brain goes, weather modification is a obvious topic. We all know that it's happening right now. And then you'll inevitably meet someone who does not know that that indeed is happening. And so it's kind of, it's wild, right? Kind of just rocks you back. You're like, I thought that was something that we all kind of understood and we're on the same page on. It's like, nope, everyone's at different levels in their awareness of what's going on, and they might be seeing one part just like us. We might be seeing several parts, but there is yet more, to be seen. And
There's
it's
definitely more facets to that that we may not be aware of. And one of the latest things, and I haven't talked to you since we had that conversation, but one of the latest things was, um, what are they hiding from the skies? Like, why are they spraying so much?
right.
I mean, humans are like cockroaches. They're surviving all this poison for years and years and years.
Right.
But at the same time, like, why is there such a hurry to hide what's up there?
Well, let's have fun for just a second, go off tangent. But so here's kind of what I'm getting. One, they're really trying to block what the sun is sending to us, because the sun is key in our ascension. It is sending us the light codes, it's sending us the photonic energy, which is helping us up level. And I think they are actually trying to block that from happening, because the more conscious and aware you are, the more aware of your own energy, your own personal power, how source is directly moving through you, the less it's harder to control that kind of person. So I feel like that's possibly one agenda. And then my other one that I think it is there's ships in the sky they don't want us to see.
Mhm.
What's your take? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, I want to say, not only is there ships in the sky, I think they might be thinking that humanity's not ready to see that, for one. But what if there is a battle? Humanity, watching Star Wars, like literally above their house, like what would happen? Like people would lose their cookies, like I don't know. I mean, for one, if they actually realized there were ships right above. For two, if there was actual combat. But
Yeah.
also the possible or the potential for, poisoning in the air, wouldn't be like new, because they've been putting fluoride in our water for God knows how long, to dumb down the humanity and human race. But on the flip side, what if it's the opposite? What if it's to wake up the people that have been sleeping forever and wake up juice?
I like the idea of wake up juice. I honestly feel like there has been a shift. I do think there's something more benevolent than it looks that's happening. I believe that the good guys are more in control of the situation than it appears to be, but it needs to look this way to help people become aware of what happens when you rely heavily on people in positions of power to tell you how to behave, to make decisions for you. And we need to learn that lesson. And and the best way to learn it is learn the consequences of that so that you can make an informed decision about whether or not that's okay with you. And by learning that lesson, again, this is where we're getting into fifth density concepts. So for people who are always talking about 5D, 5D in terms of what the lessons are, according to the law of one, the fifth density is the lessons of wisdom. And the positive fifth density, which is what everyone's alluding to, is the lessons of wisdom and love together, because we've already gone through the fourth density positive, that's love. And then you must learn how to incorporate wisdom with love. And so this is where a lot of people who are still very fourth density connected, the love vibration, which is a beautiful one, they often get confused about why would they do something that feels so cruel or heartless or mean. If they love us, if they're good, why would they do that? And this is where we have to understand how wisdom mixed with love looks different than just love in and of itself. Why isn't love the highest octave that we go to? Why are there octaves higher than love? So for example, if we're looking at the human body as sort of like the chapters that we're going through, love is at the heart chakra, but then you've got these three others above it, so why is this not the highest? And that's because we can make a lot of mistakes through just love. Like, for example, if the good guys, if this whole lesson were just about, I'm going to take care of you, that would be love, right? That's pure love. I'm going to take care of this for you. I don't want to see you suffer. I don't want to see you in pain. So I'm going to take care of this. The problem with that is we learn nothing through that approach. All we learn is that instead of putting my trust in this outside source, now I'm going to put it in this outside source. And
Right.
so we haven't actually learned how to take the power back within ourselves and assert ourselves or stand in our own power and declare our freedom that way. We've just transferred our allegiance to somebody
Right.
who seems nicer, right? But when they're teaching us through love and wisdom, they're like, we're going to show you, we're not actually going to harm you, but we're going to let you show how harmful, we're going to show you how harmful this is when you put all your faith and trust in something outside of yourself to take care of you, and how that can be manipulated and turned against you. And in turn, learning that lesson makes you go, hold up, no, that's not okay. That's not what I agreed to. That's not what I was assuming you would do.
Right.
Therefore, I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore. Now you've learned the lesson. And
Right.
now you can stand in your own sovereignty.
Right. And you're rescinding all your contracts.
Right.
And you're like not consenting now that you know the whole scope of things.
And you're going to be a lot clearer moving forward about what you are consenting to and where the line is. You're going to have better boundaries about that, and where you believe that the governing should stop,
Right.
where we agree to be governed, where you're not allowed to govern. And that's
Yeah.
when we've restored this whole thing. So going back to what you were saying before, I feel like the good guys are helping us out, and there are more benevolent things happening, but it's not going to look that way. And that's on purpose to help you make some decisions about what you're seeing. Is this okay? And if it's not, how would you do it differently? What would you rather it be? And where's your boundary now? you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so going back to, okay, so we know we're being inundated. We've kind of touched on a lot of topics. And the whole idea here is that even if you're looking into this and you're learning from it, it's still overwhelming, and it's easy for us to sort of stay static or frozen in our own lives while we're waiting for things to get better. or we're waiting to make sure that we are safe. And life is continuing to move on
Right.
despite what's happening everywhere. And we wanted to talk about how to feel like you're living your life through this really turbulent transition. And I feel like this is um, I wanted to say epic year. I feel like this is the biggest, the big finale year where things get really explosive. And I think it's helpful for us to figure out how to claim our energy back while we're, because it's just January and we've already seen a bunch of weird things, haven't we? I mean,
Yeah. It's like mid-January. Welcome. Year of the dragon.
right? Exactly. Year of the dragon hasn't even officially started, and yet you can feel the
You can
dragon
feel
on the
it.
way. So let's talk about some ways that we can reclaim our energy back so that we can continue to have our personal life move forward, even though the world gets weirder as we continue through the year.
Yeah. So I like to do a lot of different things
Mm-hmm.
to call my energy back to myself. And it really is something that I do on a daily basis. And you can do it more than once, so much so I'm like forgetting what I say, but it's like something in the respect where I, from all four directions, I call back all my energy to me now.
Mm-hmm.
It's as
Oh.
simple as that. I can call
Mm-hmm.
back all, through time, space, and dimensions. I call back all my energy back to me now. You could even state that you wash it with God's light. So you don't know if energy has mixed and mingled with, not so nice energy,
Right.
like you want it to be
Something
cleared.
funky.
Yeah, something funky, but you want it to come back to you. The other thing is getting into your body, and what does that look like? You are here having a human experience. How do you get in your body? What are some things you can do? I use tapping all the time. Instead of just the affirmations of what you want in your life, you can tap them in, and then you're feeling your body, you're feeling your skin, you're feeling your, and then if you know the tapping points, which I do because I'm a practitioner for EFT, then you're actually resetting your meridians and your nervous system and your chakras, and everything gets in full alignment.
Now you have
Crystals.
tapping on your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, I do. I have some tapping. I haven't been doing tapping in a while, but on my YouTube channel, but I do have some old ones, like the basics, like where are the points? What do they associate with on the body? Like what organ is for the liver? What point associates with that the liver or the adrenals or the thyroid, or all the points. Yeah. And
I
there's
love that.
I
So
think 8 points. 8 points, pretty simple, but there's more than that. It's just those are the ones, the basics I cover.
if you go to the Sacred Spiral on YouTube, you'll find Sylvia's channel. I'm also going to put it in the description below so you could just click on it. But if you want to get right into tapping, she's great at teaching you, how to move through these points. And I love some of the techniques you do. I remember I was doing it with you years ago. And I don't know if you're still doing it, but you would like pull a card and then you'd tap
Yeah.
through like the
Yeah.
meaning of that card. I loved that. I thought that was
Yeah.
great.
And then crystals. Crystals, I always have them like in every
Mhm.
room. I have
Yeah.
them in
I'm
every
like,
room. I
yes,
rely
yes,
on crystals.
yes.
They really bring the energy and the vibration up all around you, but at the same time, right now, I feel like the darker crystals are very protective and very grounding, and to ground into the center core of Earth. Even visualizing yourself with, as a tree with roots going to the center of Earth, like a big giant redwood tree. Like they're solid no matter what wind is blowing. The redwood tree is not going anywhere. And there's this interconnectedness between trees that speaks to one another.
I know. I
And so
love that.
like that allows them to speak through their root system. And it's like in humans, we're going to be opening up, telepathy and other ways to communicate and things like that. So, being a little bit more grounded, and some of the other modalities that I have practiced, just there are, techniques that call in grounding, to be more grounded, so just allowing people, I feel like when your energy feels sporadic or scattered, there's a way to come back to yourself in yourself, I guess, instead of out there, go within,
Yeah.
because in general, that's why there's so much distraction. This is an energy war for your energy. And so coming back to yourself, what does that look like? How can you do that? It could be tapping, it could be dancing, it could be singing, it could be working with crystals and breathing, heart breath. Heart breath. Do you want to talk about heart breath at all? I know you've studied the heart breath.
Yeah, so heart mind coherence breathing is one of my favorite techniques. I love using it every spirit circle. That's what we do when we're starting to align together, is we really focus in on not only our breath, but breathing in and out through our heart center. So you're imagining your breath coming in and out of your heart. And I like to add vagal nerve toning with that, because your vagus nerve holds the most trauma in the body, and it touches pretty much every organ in your body. It's the biggest nerve. It's also the biggest nerve that connects with your heart. So if you want to heal or calm trauma in the body, a simple technique is, focus on your heart center, breathe in through your nose. And as you exhale, imagine you're blowing through a straw. So you want to purse your lips really tight and as slow as you can, and really extend that exhale. And what I see when I do that is your vagus nerve almost looks like, those commercials where you see a close up of the hair cuticle before it gets tamed, and it's all like, the
Frizzy,
cuticles all, fanning
frayed.
out. Exactly. When you do that breathing technique, it's like your nerves are frayed like that, and it's like it's coating them, like in
With
those commercials.
keratin.
With the keratin. It's just smoothing it's smoothing your nerves out to make them look silky and shiny.
Yeah, it's all good.
But it really
Smoothing it
is,
out.
it's the vagus nerve is something that we naturally tend to self-soothe in a way that will tone our vagus nerve. And I know this because a lot of times I used to grab my ears and tug on them and like pinch and roll them. That these are major connection points to your vagus nerve, as well as in your eyes. These are 2 points. But we naturally sort of instinctually want to tone that nerve. And so breathing, just that simple breath. And the beautiful thing is you can be anywhere and doing it. No one's going to know. It's not going to look weird. So you could be
No.
in the middle of a meeting and you could just be like, breathing like that. Or even, yeah, if you wanted to gently tug on your ears and, sort of pinch on them a little bit, that would also help
Yeah.
calm yourself. But yes, your nervous system is so important to address
And
during
there's that
this.
the
Yeah.
tilting of the head and the eye thing. Remember you were showing us that where it's like you tilt and then you look up and then what is that
Right.
one?
So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's another vagus nerve toning technique, and it's another one you could do. So you're sort of like keeping your head neutral, looking forward, and what you're doing is you're moving your eyesight. You're looking it up and to like the upper right corner, and you're holding it for 30 seconds, and you're holding it. You'll know your vagus nerve is toning if you start to yawn. That's usually a sign that the vagus nerve is toning. So you do 30 seconds, and it's, again, you keep your head straight forward, but you're looking up into the corner. So right corner and then left corner, and you hold that long enough and you'll start yawning, and that's how you know that it's toning. And yes, you can also tilt your head, especially if it's like, if you want to, I
Stretch your shoulders.
my
Your
neck
neck.
and shoulders get really tight. And so I would add the two together, and I found it was just like multitasking, but kind of
Hmm.
doing both at the same time.
Hmm.
So good for you. I wanted to go back to the crystals though and find out, one, if you're using any of these crystals, but two, just to share with you the crystals that were most resonant for 2024 and just get your thoughts on it if you're interested.
Yeah. The crystals I have in front of me right now are carnelian,
Mm-hmm.
aventurine, chrysocolla,
Love
and ocean
chrysocolla.
jasper.
Ooh, okay. So these are the ones that my team had picked for 2024. Um, and I'm going to try and get them in my shop because they sound really cool. But the first one was Kambaba Jasper.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard that? That's also called rhyolite, I think is the other name
What
for
color
it.
is it? Is it brown or
It
green?
is, it's interesting because it's multicolored. It looks predominantly brown, but it has green rings in it.
Okay.
So it's
That
got the
reminds me
rings.
of like a piece of art, like of the spirals and the galaxy and stuff.
Yeah. It's really cool looking, and it connects with this. What's so interesting about it is it's about reconnecting to ancient wisdom. So it's got an ancestral connection, but it's also very grounding and protecting. A lot of these, almost all of these crystals that came forward also had protection elements to them, but this that one was specifically for, like, I feel like reconnecting to past lives and even to your ancestral lineage, was one of the intentions behind it,
A lot of
because
fossils and petrified wood come to me with the past because they've been here forever. What's the one
right.
that looks like a seashell? The is it ammonite? Ammonite? It's the one that's a fossilized seashell that's a spiral.
I don't know if I've seen that one,
Oh yeah.
but I
If I
love that.
had it, it's my other room. If I had one handy, I'd show you. But yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's a
So
fossil. And then petrified wood, I actually
petrified
don't know
wood's
where
good for,
my petrified wood disappeared. It was one of my go-tos because it's like it felt so good. It just
yeah.
felt like, a tree, basically.
And it was like, the work is
Tree
done. I
agate.
have to
Yeah, it's
go.
a very tree agate. I was like, yeah, definitely, redwood forest vibes, like old school big tree.
Yeah. So Kambaba Jasper was one of them. The next one was Garnet, which I
Garnet's
haven't.
very nice grounding.
Yeah, so very grounding, and also helping with vital energy. So helping you connect with, like, your passion and what you're passionate about, or if you need to reconnect with that energy,
Yeah.
like get re-energized about what you're focused on. Garnet is a good one.
I have a
The next,
garnet stretch bracelet that I often wear. Lately, I've been wearing a lot of dark crystals. Like I have I got some smoky quartz and some
love that.
onyx and hematite. And hematite is one of my favorites because when I put it on, if you're doing a protection bubble every single day, which I do suggest everybody do that every single day, you could do a hematite bubble because that's a
Mm.
reflective bubble. So it's like so whatever energy gets sent at you gets thrown back where it came from.
Yeah,
It's very protective.
like the mirror shield, except with the hematite, which is also a great conductor of energy. They often say if you put quartz and hematite together, get these two, that it acts as a psychic antenna. So I love that. I
Earrings
love
for
that.
you. Earrings.
I know, right? So the next one, well, actually, I use a lot of hematite in my stuff.
I
There's
know.
just,
That's what I'm saying. Like hematite and quartz or hematite and selenite.
yeah, I love
Selenite.
that. Okay, so then the next one was turquoise,
Oh, I love
like,
turquoise.
right? And
It
it's
used
like
to
you
be
often,
so inexpensive, and now it's like because it's been mined, it's like very expensive. But I do have some turquoise pieces
it
I
is. And
absolutely
there's a lot of fake turquoise out there too. A lot of times they'll take howlite and dye
howlite.
it turquoise, and
Hmm.
it kind of looks the same, but it's not. So the turquoise for attuning to yourself, and also it's also a protection one, but it has this very, like, it helps kind of improve your vibration if you're, especially if you're in a place where you're like, I kind of feel like my nerves are frayed. Turquoise is a good one for soothing and calming, and it increases sort of this um friendly energy around you. It just makes it, like, feel lighter and
Are you
easier.
going to make some turquoise jewelry?
I I do have a plan for that. There's I have some African turquoise, which is a little different than the traditional turquoise you see, that really bright blue. The African has more color variation in it, and oftentimes it's a little more greener. So I have some of that I
Okay.
definitely want to play with. And then one that I hadn't heard of before, and I'm excited to find, is Quantum Quattro. Have you heard of Quantum Quattro?
Yes. Yes, I have.
You
Oh,
know Quantum Quattro.
I'm trying to think if I don't think I have. I think I took them out of this room, but I did have some. It reminds me a lot of chrysocolla.
Yeah.
It's very chrysocolla vibe. It's the greenish. I have four little tumbled pieces that I made a grid with, and they are treated with aura, so they're beautiful. But I think I took
Ooh.
them to my other room with my other stuff. Like I have crystals
Yeah.
everywhere. Like I said, just not right now with with the specific ones, but I'm pretty sure I have them around my house somewhere.
I love that. Yeah. So Quantum Quattro is good for doing the holistic soul healing work, like what we're talking about right now, it's a good assistant for that. It kind of just synergizes your energy, and it kind of helps you recollect yourself and focus into this moment, which is,
Yeah.
one of the things that you were talking about that was so important, um,
Yeah,
for
for
us to
sure.
do. Now, one of
Yeah.
the
And then
things that,
the feet up the wall, the breathing. You can talk more about the feet up the wall technique.
yeah,
Um,
so
when you can do it and how you can do it.
anytime. It's one of the ways that I use to help, especially when my children were younger and they would go into, kids go into tantrums easily. And that was like the gentlest way to help them move out of that spinning mindset that you can get into where you're just overwhelmed and upset when you just put your legs up the wall or even just like on the edge of a couch or a bed. It's what we do, for 10 minutes. And what it does is usually when you're in that state, your fight or flight mode is activated. You're not able to think clearly in that state. Critical thinking is not available to us when we're that stressed out. And by simply putting your legs up the wall for about 10 minutes, what happens is you're forcing the body to slow the pumping of the blood down because now the heart does not have to work so hard to pump because all the blood that's in the legs from standing up or sitting is now coming back to the heart. And so the heart stops pumping as hard and it slows down. And when that slows down, everything else slows down. The body is just getting the message that there's nothing to be afraid of right now. So it stops the fight or flight, because the breath is slowing, the heartbeat is slowing, you're feeling calmer and more collected, and you can start to collect your thoughts again and think more clearly. It's easier to be in a calm state when you do that. Whereas if you're a person or a person who has a hard time calming down, if you're just a spicier person in life, like when I get upset, I get pretty spicy.
Yeah,
So I've had to,
that red fire comes out.
that's right. So I've had to train myself to go put my legs up the wall. But it's so interesting because sitting there for 10 minutes really gives you a chance to think about it. And of course, when you first sit down, you're upset, you're worked up, you're thinking about things in that way that you do when you're in fight or flight. And after 10 minutes, you kind of hear the soft internal voice of your higher self kick in and go, actually, it's not as bad as you thought it was. And you're like, okay, I can start to consider again. So it's such a great technique when you're upset. So if you're hearing upsetting news, if something's going on in the world that's got under your skin, you're like, I know I shouldn't get emotionally involved in this, but I'm upset. Put the phone down, go put your legs up the wall. Like it doesn't work so well. I've tried to do it with the phone, and unless you're listening to a meditation or you're putting on soothing music, you will just distract yourself from reconnecting. So it's that willingness to walk away from what's upsetting you to recollect yourself is such a strong technique. And if you are reaching for that continuously, you're maturing on a spiritual level when you're like, my well-being is more important than being right or,
Right. Yeah.
fighting or being connected to this crazy information going on. When that
Right.
becomes the priority, you're spiritually maturing.
Yeah. And back to fight or flight, the
Yeah.
tapping actually shifts. It's been scientifically proven to shift from fight, flight, freeze. What happens is our brain and our amygdala in our brain um, squeezes because we were trained, or it's embedded in us, like as cavemen running from a saber-toothed tiger, to be fearful. But our body doesn't realize that when we're being bullied, that's that same fear that's triggering that same part of the brain that is going into fight, flight, freeze. And the EFT has been scientifically proven to shift it in as little as 6 minutes a day or 6 minutes at a time. So I mean, if you want to, double down, put your feet up a wall and tap,
Right. No, that is so good. That actually would probably make it go faster versus like having
Mhm.
the phone, which would slow it down. So yeah, I would definitely, even just that karate chop point, if that's all you could
Yeah.
remember to do is tap that with your legs up, you would be moving through that faster for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving the energy.
And then
And
I would,
the dancing, or the, like that, you do that singing and dancing, putting on a favorite playlist. If you have a fun playlist that just really brings your vibe up, no matter what's happening in life.
yeah,
Um, singing and dancing definitely will move the energy.
Oh, for sure. That is such a great way. And then one of the other ways, and this is how, Sylvia and I connect all the time, is being around a group of like-minded people who are intending to focus and shift their energy, right? It's being in that group where you feel um, a what is the word I'm looking for? It's like a match in intention that we're all gathered here together with the intention of improving not only the energy in our own life, but also the energy in the lives of those around us and even the world, right? To
Yeah.
send out that kind of energy, which is what we're doing in the spirit circle. I mean, it's predominantly after the meditation, we're working on loving kindness. But what the beautiful thing about it is this group of people, and Sylvia is a part of it, and I just feel so honored to have this group regularly in my life. But when you're willing to sort of take that time out of your day, and for us it's like twice a month that we're doing that, and focus in on like how can I work with the energy right now to make things feel a little bit easier and more graceful, but also having that intention and the well wishes that other people feel that too. That
Yeah.
you're taking that time out to like intend that for people outside of you and feeling that connection and oneness. And I just wanted to, if that's how, like if you could just share your experience of it and, tell me how does
Yeah.
that
So
feeling for
I
you?
I think I always go last because something's always happening. So with Teresa's Spirit Circles, we go through this whole thing with the, centering and getting connected and grounded and calling our all parts and aspects of ourselves back to our now moment to be here now. And then we do some exercises. We talk about like the astrology parts of what is impacting based on the stars. Then
Mhm.
we do some exercises, and then we do some tapping, and then we do a meditation where we usually go to the night garden. But lately she's been channeling the Arcturians, which has been so emotional for me. Like just hearing from our team and spirit in general is just so, I know that we're not alone, and we know that because we get together twice a month. But for other beings or interdimensional beings to say you are so not alone ever, and you do not realize the amount of support that you have around you. We applaud you, we celebrate you. You've graduated, you are graduating, keep, going, basically is the message in a nutshell. But every single time I like start bawling because it feels so real to live in this life, but we chose to be here now, and we were chosen to be here now. And one of the things, so at the end we go through this Q&A slash special personal reading with Therese. And I think at the end I just basically wanted to tell her, Therese, not only have I been a member of this group forever, everybody genuinely wants everybody to win here. We all just want each other to win. And I know there was one particular person that was really waffling back and forth with something. And I said, hey, I've been there. I've done that. Like, I get it. And I told her, I said, one of the things is not only does Therese want every single one of her members to win, we want each other to win. And whatever that looks like in life. And we all are, I mean, I can't tell you, most of us have been in there for years. I couldn't even tell you unless I pulled the reports of how long I've actually been in the subscription for this group. At least 5 years. I want to say at least 5 years. I don't know. But and people come and go, but people will come back. And I've come and gone and I come back. Um, but one of the things is I said that the wounds that women have when it comes to sisterhood wounds, and motherhood wounds, and just that, I don't feel that at all in our group. Like everybody genuinely doesn't have that catty competitive bullshit that women tend to experience in women groups. And not to say that Therese doesn't welcome men. There's been a maybe one or two guys that have come and gone in the last 5 years,
Yeah.
but generally it's the same women. And we have seen each other grow so immensely, and talk about the biggest cheerleaders for your life. And just the laughter we have shared with, you know, have come our way, whether it's either, whether it's, you know, a weird boss or um just weird situations, like whether it's dating or, you know, relationships or kids or, you know, like, and so much immense amount of loss. Like there, I mean, every single one of, I know I've lost like 10 beings, you know, two which are my pets. And this group has been there and they've also had their experience in close, really, really close losses of their parents and their siblings. And just to have people that get it. And not only that, they're not afraid to be there with you and hold space with you.
Yeah.
And I told that, and I told that to Therese. And what came to my mind is, you know, Therese, why don't you have some of your members talk about how cool Spirit Circle is? Like, I mean, I know you do commercials and stuff, but like, wouldn't it be easier for people to just hear it from people who are part of it? And she's like, okay, when can you do it?
And I so appreciate it. I so appreciate you taking the time to talk about it. It's hard to promote, you know what I mean? Like it's not really the thing I want to be doing. I just want to do the hold the space with you, and I want to do the energy work, and I want to shift the planet. Like that's my whole focus. But Sylvia is, she makes a great point. Like I should share this with you and let you know what's going on so that you see behind, like, you know, because it's one thing to hear an ad and it's absolutely another thing to hear about someone's personal experience of it. And I really do appreciate you sharing that with everyone. And uh, I was just talking to a friend the other night about group, you know, the group dynamics are really difficult. I have always been a person who has felt like I'm on the outside of everything. I've never felt like I'm in a group. I always felt like I'm on the outside. And I said, except for the Spirit Circle, that's like my group. And I think that, you know, the clearer you are in your intention about why you're getting together, then the more aligned that group gets. And so, you know, it's been so beautiful because it has been going on for 9 years, which blows my mind. I cannot believe it. It does not feel like it's been going on for 9 years,
Mhm.
but it has been. And
And this past
what,
few years has been most difficult, I think, for the whole world, but
right?
us being in it, but we're still there, you know, with the
No,
same
it's,
intention.
and that was actually something like back in 2020 when we were all going through this and the world was getting very divisive. I was asking my team, I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to hold this together, and they were like, just trust people on their journey. You know, you don't need to hold them together. They will, you know, trust everybody no matter what direction they're going in or how they're viewing everything. Just remember how much you love them and trust them. And so that was really the energy that I was working on and putting out. Always try to stay aligned to is that I'm not here to demand anything from someone. I'm here to hold the space for someone, and I don't need to hold on to them. I trust them, you know, and if this is in alignment with them, they're going to be there. And when it's not, that's fine, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So
And people
I
have come and gone too, you know, and
oh, for
we'll
sure.
see them again. Usually it's
Yeah.
never a for sure end. I've never had anybody go, I'm out of here. I'm never coming back. No, if they disappear for a while, we just figure there's stuff going on
They're
that they're working
working.
through, and it's okay. And or it's a financial situation, and that's fine too. It's not,
Yeah.
you know, there's no judgment. It's just the door's always open, and everybody's going to be there to embrace you and hold your hand in this circle for loving kindness. And I think everybody feels that way
That's
regardless.
I hope so, because it's such a beautiful group of people. And also, you know, without that group, I do not know if I would have been able to channel the Arcturians, because they only came through in the Spirit Circle. That's where I felt, I think that's because that's where I felt the most held and most like safe and protected. And so that's why I was able to bring that group through, because I've been trying for years on my own to do it. I think I had just had too much
And
trepidation
the light
and the
language
light
came
language.
forward there too.
Yes. It's
And
the only place I feel comfortable doing.
yeah, and you were like, I don't know what that was. And we're like, whoa, you know, everybody that is in the group have, they're so talented, but they're also very tapped in, and
Yes.
they can energetically feel. And when we connect as a group, but we also connect to Gaia and, source or central source, creator, infinite creator, whatever you want to call it, we could feel the energy coming down, and it's just getting stronger and stronger. So we have to tap it in because we're trying to ground it and
Yeah.
hold it as pillars. And people in this group are not only in the United States, they're in the UK and Australia. So we're creating like pathways of light as we connect with this group. And I'm sure, and I think our team and Arcturians have said, you guys have no idea what you're doing and the magnitude of what you're shifting on various levels by just
Yeah.
like you are in the physical, because we're
When
working time and space, and we're working through other dimensions that we may not be able to physically see with our eyes.
Right. And in the law of one, it talks about that. It says if you bring three or more together with a shared intention, and that's the most important part, is that you have to make sure that the people who are you're bringing in are sharing the intention. And when they share that, it is profoundly powerful, the shift that you can make. And that's just with three. When we get up to like 15 plus people in there, that's a really intense it's more than doubling. I think it's more than like 4 to 5 times. I think every time you add another person, it exponentially increases the energy that you're building up, which is why mass meditations can be really powerful as well, because again, you're sharing an intention, you're focusing your energy in the same direction, and you're creating this huge ripple effect in the
Yeah.
world. But one of the things that's so beautiful about this group is that everybody's coming to it. They're not all healers. They're not all, we've
No.
got people who are working in all different aspects, in financial aspects. They're working as creatives. They're, predominantly, the caretaker of their home. So they're holding that energy for their entire family. There's a lot of people doing different things. And what I really love and what just warms my heart is how people work together. They love to support each other in the different things that they're doing. And that's one of the things that I wanted to do here with Sylvia. Is I wanted to introduce you to her work, because she is also offering some amazing tools, one of which of course is her YouTube channel. I know I don't know if you're still doing the Facebook group or not. I've kind of shifted away from Facebook, so I'm not paying attention to what's going on there as much. But you also have a self-study course that a lot of people I think would resonate with right now. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to share that, because you're helping people get clarity in a time, again, where there is a lot of information, which means there can be a lot of confusion. Not only is it a lot to watch, but you start to feel like you're getting pulled in all these different directions, and it can get really hard to know should I focus on and what is going to keep me not only in alignment with myself, but kind of on a progressive track to moving forward in my life. It can be, these kinds of times can cause people to sort of just go into freeze, that part of fight or flight, where they're like, so much is going on, I don't even know what to focus on. And I feel like your program can help people kind of, push away all the noise and narrow in on what's most aligned with their soul. So could you share that program with us?
Yeah. One of the bonuses, and I think I, one of the bonuses that I created, and it was like putting me in the pocket in a way. It was called Panic to Peace in as little as 6 minutes or whatever, but it
I
ended up
love
being
that.
like 5 minutes. It was like even less than that. And it's just like, going from the chaos to calm, you know, and those are just bonuses. Like that's not what the course is about. Those are just what you're going to get in addition to what you learn in the course. But everything in the course you can take for a lifetime. Like it's a lifetime access, but you can take it and utilize it for many places or areas of your life. This one specifically was about money blocks and manifestation. So I use various tools personally, but also I teach you about these tools to layer them so that you can, build the abundance and manifesting, but also deep diving in where those blocks originated from by asking
Yes.
you some reflective questions so that you can determine why do I do this? Where did it come from? And then we dig in together with these like reflection prompts. You get 28 days or 28 questions. My cat's right here. So if you see my cat popping up, if you go through and you deep dive into why you believe the things that you believe, what patterns or programs have you picked up through your life from
Mm.
0 to 7 years old that have taught you to be who you are today with anything. This one particularly is about money, but also relationships or anything else. And what I'm providing is some tools that you can do. So you're going to learn about working with your angels. You're going to be working with your crystals. You're going to learn how to shift things at a subconscious and unconscious level. But I'm deep diving and helping you go through the work by asking these particular questions of yourself first. And then once you've gotten some clarification, you go forward with the exercises. It's got 81 pages. The workbook is so large that it actually is pretty big to download. So I suggest you download it week by week because there's 4 weeks involved, 28 days. And every single week, you're going to get an angel to work with that week and a crystal to work with that week. I teach you how to do crystal grids for manifestation. I teach you how to do tapping for abundance and also to, I guess, rewire yourself and reprogram the programs that we want to dissolve and resolve out of, and then install instead. So our brain is like a computer. And so
Yeah.
we're going to reprogram it to the programs we would prefer it have instead of what we were given from 0 to 7 years old. And so
Yeah.
it's healing, manifesting, and magic. And it's a 28-day course. It's a simple, go at your own pace. You can do it every single day if you would like. If you have a moment where you're in fight, flight, freeze, like we discussed, you can go to that quick little 5-minute audio. And I call myself your frequency fairy godmother. So I'm basically bringing you from panic, to peace. And
Love
you're
that.
just pushing play and let me talk you and walk you through what you should do. And then you will calm down
I
and get
love
clarity.
that. I love that. It's so good. And so could I incorporate that as like part of a morning routine? Like, would you recommend
Yeah.
if I was doing
I
that?
recommend it in the morning and at night
Okay.
because your subconscious is going to work on your goals while you sleep. And
Yeah, it
so if
is.
you're tapping right before bed, I'm actually continuing to add to the course because I have so many other ideas. So I'm like, oh, this could really help them. This could really help them. So like right before bed, you're going to get a tapping before bed abundance
So
little.
if they purchase that course, do they always get the updates that come with it?
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
that's so cool. So it just
Yeah.
keeps
Yeah. So
becoming a
as Sylvia has
library
another
resource.
idea drop in, which is all the time, I usually get
She's
ideas for
got
other
some good
people.
ideas. So I love that. I love that.
Am I frozen or is she frozen? Okay. Uh-oh. Maybe it's me frozen. Hmm. No, I'm here. Okay. Okay. Am I back? Oh, 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 I'm the host. Hello. It's dropped off. Oh no. Hello, everybody. How are you? Hopefully she comes back to her YouTube channel. I'm just gonna maybe I should do tap dancing or something. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know what else I should talk about. But yeah, it's a really fun course. It's going to continue to get better and better, I feel like, because I have so many other ideas to give as bonuses. So I almost could create a whole nother course, but I'm going to add, if it has to do with manifesting in abundance, I'll definitely be adding to it. So hopefully that helps. Oh no, well, let's see. Can she get back into her? Let's see. Well, I don't know. Oh, Well, it says I'm still live. I can't tell. Oh no, she says she's having a hard time. Her Wi-Fi shut off. No. Oh well, I guess I'll just wrap this up for her. Because I don't know if she'll be able to get hop back on. So maybe I'll just tell you guys goodbye on behalf of Therese. And I know that she's gonna put all in the comments for any of these places that you can go. Either one, learn more about her spirit circle, which I highly recommend. I told her she should do this video, and to continue to interview maybe some other members of the group and what they would have to say, as well as if you wanted to do my course that I have just launched. She's also going to include that link down below. And but yeah, I highly recommend Spirit Circle if you're looking for a group of evolved humans, and a lot of them are women that will hold space and that are actually rooting for you, and you can evolve and grow with, and not only lift up your vibration for the betterment of your life, but also the betterment of those around you and the planet in general. And she does all these fun exercises, and I just highly recommend taking a look at it. It's so worth it. And it's one of those groups that I look forward to getting with and touching base with, and then just watching the growth of everybody within the group. So check that out. If you're interested in my self-directed course, she'll also put that in the links. But anyways, I hope that hopefully that that some of those tips will help you work with your crystals, legs up the wall, tapping, heart breath coherence, dancing, singing, and whatever else we talked about. But come back to you. Call yourself back to you from all parts. All, call back all your energy back to yourself. Wash with God's light. As many times as you feel scattered. That's my biggest suggestion is, I call every piece and part of me back through time, space, dimensions, back to myself now. Do your bubble of light every single day, multiple times a day, especially if you feel like you are getting bombarded or squeezed with the energy. Feel free to, create that bubble or egg of light, and you can make it your favorite color, or white light or golden light, or whatever lights make sense to you. Or you can try my hematite bubble, where you do the white bubble and then around that you do the hematite. So any energy that's being thrown at you in discordant energy gets bounced right back as a mirror. So hopefully those all help. And thank you guys for taking the time to listen to our jibber jabber. And hopefully you learned something and you'll be able to apply it. All right. I think I'm going to shut this recording off for her. Bye. Okay, so I stopped the recording. Oh no, I wondered what happened. I was tap dancing on the screen. So I just basically told him I was going to wrap up the video because I saw that your Wi-Fi had shut off, and I basically let them know that, and that I highly recommend them join the Spirit Circle, or to check out my course if they wanted to know more, that you would be putting all the links. So oh, hold on. Hey, what's up? What we weren't even going into anything that would need to be we were like, the dark forces had no reason to cut us off right then.
So I'm still waiting for the Wi-Fi to turn back on. I don't know if you have more time. I don't want it to take up too much more of your time.
No, so what I did is I told everybody on YouTube to check out Spirit Circle, and that you would be posting the link, and that your Wi-Fi cut off.
Doing it.
Yeah, I just said, well, Teresa's wife, I saw your message on my phone. I said, Teresa's Wi-Fi went out. And so I'm just going to kind of wrap it up. But I basically, I said, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to say, if you need a group, check out Spirit Circle. She'll be posting the link down below. And if you want to know more about my self-directed course, she'll be posting that as well. Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I can grab.
Yeah, the course link and my YouTube channel.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay. Will do. But yeah, it should show up in your Zoom. But I just basically had said, oh wait, I stopped recording. I think it says I'm still on YouTube, but